In the early morning light, a 1-month-old white Labrador puppy sleeps curled beside the owner's arm on a quiet bed. The tiny one slowly blinks awake, watching gentle fingers stroke its small head in a soothing, lazy rhythm. Outside the window, the sky is pale and quiet, and the house feels safe and warm for the little one. The baby Labrador yawns, stretches tiny paws, and listens to the soft hum of the house beginning its day. Later, the little one waddles across the living room floor, its ears bouncing as the owner's feet move slowly nearby. A steaming mug rests on the table as the owner's hand turns a page in a book, while the pup sits watching quietly. The ticking clock on the wall suddenly sounds louder, and the tiny one tilts its head toward the dim hallway. For a moment, the house seems to hold its breath, and the baby Labrador's tail stops wagging midair. Dot, 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 dot. Drawn by a feeling it cannot name, the little one pads to the front window and peers out at the quiet street. Across the way, an old neighbor woman waves kindly, her wrinkled hand pausing as her eyes drift past the pup into the house. Her smile fades just a little, and she pulls her shawl tighter, as if she feels a chill that the morning should not carry. The tiny one whimpers softly, nose pressed to the glass, sensing that something unseen has stepped into its day. The doorbell rings, and the baby Labrador trots to the front door as the owner's hand reaches for the handle. When the door opens, a postman stands there with a small bundle of letters, his smile gentle, but his eyes flicking past the tiny one into the hall. The owner's arm reaches out to take the mail, and the postman hesitates, rubbing his arm as though touched by a sudden cold breeze. Later in the afternoon, the little one follows the owner into the small backyard, sunlight resting gently on short grass. As the owner hangs a towel on a line, only arms and shoulders visible. The baby Labrador noses the air in quiet curiosity. Near the old fence, a brown stray dog stands perfectly still, staring not at the pup, but at the house behind it. The tiny one glances back between the silent stray and the house, sensing that both are watching something it cannot see. Evening settles over the home, and the little one dozes on the living room rug while the lamp casts a warm circle of light. Without warning, the lamp flickers once, then twice, and the baby Labrador's eyes snap open in the sudden dimness. From the dark hallway, a child's toy ball rolls gently into the light and stops beside the tiny one's paws. The little one whimpers softly, staring past the ball into the shadows that now feel too deep for a normal evening. Drawn by something silent, the pup rises and pads toward the hallway, each step echoing faintly in the quiet house. At the far end of the corridor, a tall, shadowy human figure seems to stand motionless, darker than the darkness around it. The tiny one freezes, ears flat against its head, and then blinks as the figure fades away like smoke. A moment later, the owner's legs appear in the doorway behind the little one, and a hand reaches down to lift it gently from the floor. The owner sits on the sofa with the pup in their lap, stroking its back slowly as the television glows silently without sound. In the reflection on the dark screen, the little one seems to see a faint shape move behind the sofa, though nothing is really there. A soft knock at the door breaks the stillness, and the owner stands, legs and hands visible, as they carry the baby Labrador to the entrance. When the door opens, the old neighbor woman stands on the step with a covered dish, but her eyes are fixed nervously on the staircase behind them. The neighbor steps just inside, clutching the dish, and murmurs that the air in the house feels heavier than before. The tiny one sits at the base of the stairs, staring upward, as if waiting for someone who never comes down. Outside the front window, the brown stray dog appears again, eyes fixed on the same spot above the stairs. The neighbor quietly excuses herself and leaves, glancing back one last time as the baby Labrador's gaze never leaves the upper floor. Night falls with a gentle rain tapping at the windows, and the little one lies on the rug, listening to each drop. The owner's legs rest on the sofa, a hand dangling lazily over the edge, fingertips brushing the baby Labrador's back. In the black television screen, a shadow seems to cross behind the owner's silhouette, though the hallway remains empty when the pup glances back. The tiny one shivers, not from cold, but from the feeling that the house is quietly watching them both. When the rain grows heavier, the pup slips away from the sofa and pads toward a closed door it has never noticed before. The baby Labrador presses its nose to the crack, and the doorknob trembles almost too gently to notice. Behind the door, there is no sound, only a quiet presence that makes the tiny one's heart beat faster. Softly, the owner's hand appears on the knob, fingers curling around the metal as if drawn to open it. The door swings open with a faint creak, revealing a narrow stairway leading upward into a dim attic space. The owner's legs climb slowly, each step careful, while the little one waits at the base, refusing to follow. From above, the beam of a small flashlight sweeps across dust and forgotten boxes, but never quite touches the corners. At the foot of the stairs, the baby Labrador stares upward, eyes fixed on a spot just over the owner's unseen shoulder. A small ball, different from the toy downstairs, rolls slowly out of the attic darkness and stops at the top step. The owner's hand reaches down to pick it up, fingers pausing mid-air as if feeling something unseen move past. Down below, the little one whines softly, backing away from the stairs while still staring upward. For a heartbeat, the faint outline of the shadowy human figure seems to stand just behind the owner's silhouette, then vanishes again into the dark. Suddenly, the house goes dark, the power cutting out and leaving only the hush of rain and the pup's soft breathing. The owner descends the stairs carefully, phone flashlight glowing in one hand, the tiny one pressing close to their legs. They move through the hallway together, single beam of light passing over familiar walls that now feel strangely unfamiliar. At the open front door, the brown stray dog stands just inside the threshold, body tense as it stares into the darkness behind them. The owner steps into the living room, phone light lowered, with the baby Labrador cradled in their arms, face still hidden in shadow. At the doorway behind them, the old neighbor woman stands alongside the postman, both framed by the rainy night as they look inside. Neither speaks, but their eyes stay fixed on a spot just over the owner's shoulder, as if watching someone else stand there. The little one begins to tremble in the owner's arms, its gaze shifting from the silent visitors to the empty space behind the person holding it. A faint, icy breath brushes the owner's neck, visible as a tiny puff of mist in the narrow beam of the phone's light. The brown stray dog lowers its head and whines, backing toward the door while never taking its eyes off the space behind the owner. The old neighbor woman clutches the door frame with one hand, whispering a prayer as the postman slowly steps backward into the rain. The little pup turns its head very slowly, ears pinned flat, eyes widening as it focuses on something towering just behind the owner. The little pup looks behind the owner in terror before the video cuts to